Tre'Davious White, critical on that Buffalo defense, announcing he will play this year. What can you tell us?
This was a big one. I talked to Bill's sources who thought he was going to decide to play, but Tre'Davious White really taking it down to the wire when it came to the opt-out. He was strongly considering opting out for the season. Instead, has decided to play. This is a massive one. The Bills feel like a team that could take over the AFC East potentially in place of the Patriots. I don't know if they would have been able to do it without White. He is that much of a difference maker. This is a huge addition for a Bills team that sorely would need White in that backfield.
No question. And I saw this tweet the other day, and I wanted to bring this up. He posted this before he announced that he was going to play. He posted, "Crazy that me choosing my family's well-being over a game comes with so-called fans attacking and questioning me and saying I'm selfish. No, you guys are selfish for thinking that football is bigger than life. Oh, by the way, my girl's grandfather passed from COVID. You understand now." I wanted to bring this one out to the group quickly here. And Dominique, I'll start with you, because we all understand fans sometimes. To call those people fans, if you're genuinely criticizing and questioning a person making that decision right now, then I'm not sure fan is the right word to describe you. But let's put that to the side for a moment. Now, the guys who do decide to play are making a difficult decision as well. And they're going to be in there. They're going to be blood, sweat, and tears. They're going to be all of these concerns. They're, the banding together as a brotherhood and everything else. Do you think that there will be any backlash, whether it is spoken or quiet, amongst players towards their own teammates who choose not to play during this season?
I mean, I absolutely hope not, and I think not, but this is a unique situation. As many years as I've been in a locker room, and as many years as everyone's been in a locker room, no one's experienced something like this. And I like to think that everyone understands the important reasons why people would walk away. But I do understand the culture of a football team, the culture of team in general, any sort of place where you start to consider people your family and your brothers, you feel like you're dependent on them. So I think some people may be a bit disappointed if they don't get one of those guys that they're depending on for them to have success. But I think at the end of the day, we'll all understand, because all the people who have opted out, most of them at least, have given legitimate reasons. Even if opting out just because you're nervous, I find that to be a legitimate reason. But players who have opted out have given further examples of how they've had this hit close to home in their family and what type of risk they will be putting their family members at. And I think it makes sense for those guys to opt out, and it makes sense for guys to understand that that's a reasonable position to take.
Yeah, and generally speaking, when you see guys who are not with their teammates, money is the factor. Well, in this case, it's the opposite. These guys are passing up a lot of money in order to choose to opt out of the season. Damian Woody, what is your perspective on all this?
Well, listen, there's a couple things. Number one, the fans, have this perspective of guys that, they just don't want to play the game. These fans got to understand, these guys, if they opt out, they're leaving a lot of money on the table. Okay, so obviously this is a decision near and dear to these guys, not only to them, but to their families. And then number two, the thing that a lot of people aren't talking about is the after effects of COVID-19. Everyone looks at everything between, did they pass away or, did they survive? Well, we got a situation with the Boston Red Sox pitcher, Eduardo Rodriguez, where he has a heart issue related to COVID-19. No one's really talking about that. So all these things have to be taken into consideration as to whether these guys, basically opt in or opt out of the season.
Jeff Darlington, what are you hearing from around the sport as far as potential backlash? I found that Tre'Davious White tweet yesterday. Again, he posted that before he announced his decision to play. I found that really interesting.
Well, Matt Stafford also had a false positive when it came to his COVID test. His wife came out on social media and said she was being attacked also for even going to the grocery store after a false positive. I mean, it feels like maybe everybody should just mind their own business here and focus on the fact that everybody is making very difficult personal decisions, whether it's deciding whether to send your kids to school or play in the NFL. Look, there's not much difference right now between any of the rest of us and an NFL player. We are all susceptible to the same situation, and we are all deserving of making our own personal choices. That includes someone like Tre'Davious White, who has decided to play despite his concerns. I think we should all be respectful of that.
Absolutely.
Every single decision is very personal at this point.
That's really well said, and it's a perfect way to leave it. I'll leave it there for the moment.